We want to give a massive shout out to Sokin, who are official sponsors for Vibe with Five. Great relationship, great partnership with us in 2021. 2022, there's loads to do. Global money transfers, you can use it all across the globe. And of course, on top of that, they do things like competitions. Didn't you see? They sent fans to come with me to watch the Arsenal versus West Ham game. There's more of that to do. There's more prizes, but make sure that you use the app, you download it, and you follow them on socials. Sokin Global.
Sokin.
They can never do it like I. When you see man pull up and slide, man stepped in a room with legends, Rio and Steve, you know it's a vibe. Check the podcast, what you wanna know? Don't ask me, go and ask Joe. If you're talking Premier League, he's on the front line and I gotta go. It's a vibe with five, and you already know what it is. It's a vibe with five, and you already know what it is. Vibe with five, and you already know what it is. It's a vibe with five, and you already know this.
Righty then, welcome back to Vibe with Five. Short episode today because we're probably going to be going live again later. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, hit the bell. We're going to be live after Steven Gerrard versus Ralph Rangnick, Manchester United, Aston Villa, FA Cup, Monday night, Old Trafford. We'll be live after that, giving you our thoughts. Hopefully it's not going to go. I think it's going to go Joe Beya, Rio Ferdinand. And we're going to talk a little bit. This almost might as well be called.
Listen, get to the topic.
All right.
What am I hearing?
It's the United update and a little bit of piss taking of Arsenal. So it's the same as every week.
Right, but how many players are unhappy at Man United, mate? Apparently.
Well, if you read the report, 17 apparently.
17, and you guys want to talk about any other club? How is that possible? Glory, GGMU.
It's a load of rubbish.
Yeah, that's it. You're buying it at face value. All that Ronaldo crisis talks with Mendes. Nope, lies. That's not happening.
No, we'll ask Romano on Wednesday.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's ask him. And I bet he tells you it's lies, right?
We'll see.
You've got 17 players unhappy, really.
No, but I am hearing, but there must be, even if 17 is an inflated number, surely there's a high number of players that
Where's
are
your
happy.
captain?
No, but I'm asking, no, forget us for a second. Hold on a second.
Talk about unhappy
But
players.
He's the only unhappy player there is. Got him
he?
out of the team. Besides the FA Cup mishap, we've been doing all right.
Mishap.
Yeah.
City defeat as well.
I know Ronaldo's not happy, Steve.
Oh, you spoke to
Can't
him.
be. No, but he can't be.
Of course he's not happy. They're
Come
not
back.
in the position he wants to be. He wants to be winning trophies.
Martial, he's definitely not happy.
He's not
trying to
playing.
leave.
Guess what? We ain't happy with him either.
Just, I know Pogba, if he was happy, he would have signed by now.
He's
Yes.
injured. He's concentrating.
No,
on his
stop
fitness.
it, Ria. I'm not having it.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
No, I'm not
I'm
having
not
it.
buying
No,
that.
don't even try.
You can try sell that. I'm not buying that.
not to me,
I'm
mate.
not buying that.
Jesse, obviously, he's not playing as well. I'm guessing the players are unhappy. Maguire,
Maguire unhappy.
He's
guessing.
unhappy with his own form. He'll be unhappy with.
Yeah.
100%.
I got some things I want to say about Maguire, but this
Go on,
is
then, let's speak about
this
it
is a
now.
family show.
Go on.
This.
It's a
Go
family
on,
show.
say what
Keep
you
it
think.
family, keep it peaceful.
What's your problem with Harry Maguire?
My problem with Harry Maguire is Phil Jones, right, who I've been critical of, has come in at 2 years. Joe, every player, this guy needs match fitness. You can't judge him without match fitness. Phil Jones has come in from working his night shift at Tesco for the last 2 years, come straight into the team and put in a performance that Harry Maguire's going to have to go watch tape on what to do for.
Yeah, but
That's my thing with Harry Maguire. Captain, £80 million. You've just had a shelf stacker come in and just go absolutely turbo on your position. And I don't mean any disrespect to Phil Jones. I'm just making it a bit of a laugh. You know what I mean?
All right, listen, I love
And what I will say is, Phil Jones, fair play. You saw the emotion in the guy when
I
he
love
came.
that.
Fair play. I don't know if he'll ever
see
play for United
well, you
again.
know, a lot
but
of people talk about, does it really mean anything to the players today? That little scene there where Phil Jones finished the game, came off, heard the fans appreciating the performance and what he's been through, singing his name a little bit, clapping him off, and he started to well up and there was tears. That emotion that came out, that shows you the hard graft, the yards that went behind the scenes that we weren't privy to. And while we were calling him out at times because we weren't aware of the situation.
I heard a bit more at weekend about some of the things that he's been through. Phil, can you come on?
Yeah,
can
I'd
you
love
come
to
on
get
and
him
talk
on.
to us?
Yeah,
Because
talk.
I actually think
I think, you know what it is? It's when people don't talk, it leads to a little bit of like confusion and
You jump
they're
to a
not
conclusion,
knowing.
don't you?
You jump to conclusions.
Well, it's
and
tossing
we're
it off then,
yeah,
innit?
we were guilty of that. And I'd love to have him on to talk about it, just to kind of get, because seeing that emotion really puts him in a different place for me in terms of like, I always, listen, I've known Phil for a long time, and you know players that are committed and want to play, and you see the way he plays, he's fully committed. And when he goes into tackles, the facials he pulls, you can't not be committed with them type of facials. But to hear him speak about it would be nice, and I think to have him on would be great. So we will be reaching out, whether he comes on or not, we'll have to remain to be seen. But Man United as a whole is, at the moment, it's a negative vibe that's coming out.
But I just want to say it's because of people like Steve at the moment. Yeah, I'm going to call you out. How can you? Yes, Maguire probably hasn't had the best form, but you can't then start saying, "Oh, Phil Jones, he's played one game."
I think
bro.
that's tongue in cheek.
Yeah, it is a bit of
It
tongue in
better be
cheek.
because.
But the thing is, Joel, realistically, the standard of performance that Phil... Right, let's put it this way.
He
If
hasn't
you've
played
got
good for 3 months.
£80 million captain of Manchester United, record-breaking... well, you're literally sitting next to a guy that fit that criteria at one point. If he was missing,
That
and
team
we
was
brought
different.
a player
That
in...
team was different, man.
But the standard doesn't change, right? So if he was missing and we brought in a player that hadn't played for 2 years, and I couldn't tell the difference between him and a guy that's just coming in 2 years... We got questions to ask, haven't we?
Yeah, but it's one game. Do you know?
No. I would be embarrassed. I got to be honest.
Stop it.
You would.
Do you know why I say it's one game? When you came back from your drugs ban, and you hadn't played for like 8-9 months, you were probably the best player on that pitch, right? That night after one game.
The big difference
right?
you're forgetting is I wasn't injured. I trained.
Yeah, but
I
match fitness
trained.
is different.
No, it's not about that. It's I wasn't out and not playing. I trained harder and more than in any time in my career before that.
And 2 years ago, Phil Jones wasn't a shooting starter either.
And
He
2
was
years
out of
ago,
form
and the time in
everything.
between, he had not trained. He'd been injured. Bruno Fernandes,
Well, maybe that's
when he
Harry Maguire's
trained,
problem, innit?
he trained only a few months ago. And Bruno Fernandes, his first comment was, "This is the first time I've seen since I've been at the club Phil Jones on the grass." So that tells you how much he's not even got his boots on, let alone trained.
Well,
very different.
that's a message for Varane, right? And Bailly, then, isn't it? It might not necessarily be Maguire. No.
I don't know, man. Listen, let's move on
Harry
anyway.
Maguire's
17 players.
the one at the moment that's in the firing line.
17 players. Who else have you heard that is unhappy? Because clearly I'm wrong.
You know what? Let me just say something, but you're Steve's thinking there. There's a couple of different types of people in this scenario when there's 17 players that are unhappy at the club.
17.
Quoted, this is what they're saying. I think that's an inflated number.
Ronaldo's probably unhappy at performance, but not like kicking off.
Yeah.
You probably
Who told you that? Who told you?
I'm telling you that.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about that. I can just look at the place and understand what's going on.
But you've got.
I think there's some sulky players.
Yeah.
Without a shadow, I think that's a massive problem. Too many players think far too much of themselves. They should be looking in there and looking at Chris. Do you know what? If they're sitting there going, Ronaldo's a bit intense, isn't he? Yeah.
No, that's
How
wrong.
about try it?
Yeah,
It's a privilege
No,
to be
exactly.
at a club.
That's a man.
Do you know what? It's a privilege to be at Man United, full stop, right? But it's also a privilege to be working alongside somebody like Cristiano who applies himself the perfect way
It's in the Last
as a
Dance
professional.
documentary with Michael Jordan. Listen to some of the things that the teammates are saying about him.
Oh, yeah, they don't
Just
have
copy and paste that for
no, it's
Cristiano
horrible.
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
But the difference is them man are winners. I get that. I relate to that. I think that's the truth.
So if there's a problem in the dressing room, if you're in Manchester United, I'll just put it, simplify it. If you're in Manchester United's dressing room today and you have a problem, and your problem is Cristiano Ronaldo,
You're the problem.
You're the problem,
No,
mate.
I
That's
agree
it.
with you. Staying with Kobe Bryant, I know it's not basketball, but people usually don't have the greatest of things to say about those players because they are intense.
And you know, they're
And they
intense
wanna win.
and they demand of
Pep
other
Guardiola
people
as well.
And they weed out the weak.
Yeah.
They
and
don't
people don't
suffer
like that.
fools. They weed out the weak, and then weak people are the ones that
Yeah.
normally go into the press and leak into their agent, who they know their agent's going to go and talk to someone in the press who they're friends with, and that's what's happening here. There's a weak person in that changing room who is spilling the beans to their close ones or their agent, who's then spilling the beans to a reporter, who's then putting it out in the media and who's inflating all of these numbers and the unrest.
Don't
But
let the door
that-
eat you on the arse on the way out.
Yeah, that person needs to be thrown out of the club. And I think Man United's biggest mistake they've made in recent years is allowing certain players and people externally who are part of some players' circles and network to disrespect the club publicly. And they haven't slammed the door shut in their face and really put them people in the place they should be, because you can't allow that. The minute you allow that once, that one step out of line, and other players, other people in them people's circles start thinking, oh, he got away with it. I'll say my thing. I don't mind leaking something now because there's no repercussions. No one says nothing. That my player ain't going to come under any type of fire at the club because of that. No. You nail that person immediately. And I don't understand how that's the mistake the hierarchy at the football club in recent years have done poorly, man. They've let stuff slide too much. They've got to be drilled, those people. And you're gonna have players. Listen, unhappy players is part of the job. It's part of management. You're gonna have to manage unhappy players because players are gonna be in that squad who aren't playing. They're gonna be unhappy. It's Donny van der Beek.
But that's the whole squad, though.
I know, but Donny van der Beek, I understand someone like him being unhappy, but from what I hear, not a moaner. gets on with it, isn't going to tell his agent to speak in the media or whatnot, or spill the beans here and there and want it put out there so he looks like a certain type of character. Jesse Lingard. They just want to play football, I get it. But then you're going to have another type of player who understands being on the periphery of a squad, being a player that comes in minimal games in a season, understands that role, accepts it, wants to be there for that. We had players like that in my time. And then you're going to get players that are going to then be bad eggs and going to, you know what, if I don't play, I'm going to make it uncomfortable for everybody. I'm going to come in, I'm going to change the atmosphere in the dressing room by being a bit aloof, being a bit rude to people, not saying hello all the time, not being punctual. Those players get out. You go to the manager and tell the manager, get rid of that geezer. He's a disgrace in our change room. He's ruining it, and he's going to get beat up at some point.
Did you see anyone like that in your time? I mean, there's different questions here. There was players that were unhappy, like for example, Rooney. That's different, and I'm sure I would like for us to discuss that with Fabrizio. But did you see anyone unhappy making the situation hard for everyone, or did that not run at Man United?
John, I want to get Wazza on and talk to him about that one.
Yeah, I mean, Wayne with Man City, he was talking openly about Man City.
Saying what? Like in the change
room?
He
was.
Man
City.
Drying his bollocks.
He'd be there. He'd walk in the change room. And obviously I sat next to him.
Yeah.
And Wazza, he'd go, look, Man City are in for me, Chelsea are in for me. They're offering big money, man. Like, it's difficult. I don't know what I'm going to do. You know what? I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure. And players weren't happy. Like, Wazza, don't want to hear all that. Just get on with it. Let's get on with it. Blah blah. And then he signs a deal because you feel in the back of your mind he's going to sign. And I think it was his way of negotiating, but he was quite young maybe and a bit immature. Maybe advised wrongly, maybe, whatever. It happened. But the good thing is he came out and he apologised after. So you sweep it under the carpet. And you know with Wayne...
You never doubted his commitment.
You don't. That's what I was going to say. With Wayne Rooney, you do not... Whatever's going on in his life, and I've been there in the greatest times in Wayne's life, and I've been there when shit's going on. One thing you don't doubt or you never question is his commitment to the cause when you get over that white line. This guy, I'm going to war with him. If I'm going in the game, it's the hardest game of my life, and I see Wayne Rooney in front of me playing at the top of the pitch, my heart rate's a little bit lower than it would be with anyone else. So great teammate to have in them circumstances. But then there's other players who are just doing it, and you know that they're going to down tools and they're not going to try as hard, and they're the ones you want out. You make a play to make sure that they know, listen, we ain't going to accept that. And I played with players when I was younger, especially at West Ham, and where I knew they weren't in the team. They'd want to ruin sessions. They wouldn't try in training. They'd be rude to the manager. I heard it at QPR. I saw it at QPR. Man United is difficult. You don't see it as much.
United was extremely successful during your period of being at United, and you're saying there wasn't that desire to get out. So what comes first? Is it the club's in disarray, therefore players want to get out, or the players want to get out and that puts the club in a disarray? Which one comes first, do you reckon?
I don't know. It's difficult. I think when you're not winning, when you're winning, it could be easier or said to be easier to manage that because
there's still players missing out on game time.
There's players missing out on game time, but there's a chance of winning the medal.
Okay.
So and the atmosphere is a lot more positive. When the team's not doing so well, you've got then you can hit the manager with something. Do you know what I mean? There's a chance. There's a little squeak of a. Well, you're not doing this. You can't say that to someone like Sir Alex Ferguson or Pep or Klopp because the team's at the top of the league, they're winning, etc. So there's no room to manoeuvre really. Whereas I was at teams, and where Man United are now, and I was at teams before where a player could be disrespectful, and that's where it goes back to my point about discipline and people having repercussions for certain actions, whether it's you or people in your circle. If you allow stuff to slide and allow people to be disrespectful publicly or behind closed doors in training ground, that's seen as a weakness. Man United have looked weak.
But has Ralph got the money in the bank to be able to sit a player down like that?
Sorry, I'll, before we go into that topic, first of all, you've got to give a massive shout out to the players who, despite their situations, Rudiger, we've seen Suarez in the past, these guys, despite their contractual situations, they keep going, right? In regards to what you were saying about Rudiger, Rangnick, does he not take any blame for this, or would you say it's too soon for him? He's just come in the door.
No, it's too soon, man. He's been in not even double figures games. Hasn't had loads of time on a training pitch. So it's very different. And Rudiger's different. It goes back to my point with Rudiger. He's in a successful period at Chelsea. They've won the Champions League.
So even though he's negotiating,
and he's playing every game, and he's playing particularly well at the moment. So everything's positive in his camp. So there's no need for him to be going into the media. He's sitting there going, I'm waiting because I know I'm going to get a club and I know someone's going to pay me top dollar. It's just now about where I want to go.
You said you might go into the manager and say, you need to get rid of him because he might get beat up. Did anyone ever get gripped in a change room by senior players?
There was always little scuffles and things like that would happen.
Was it someone just going a bit late in training? Maybe?
Yeah. People will go late in training and smash people. I remember, even when Rude was leaving, there was a few times when stuff happened with Rude.
Is it?
Yeah, like he got launched or he kicked out a couple of people.
He said it in our interview, by the way. He said it
happens. He was probably the most high-profile one I can remember, but it happens, and because emotion gets involved, but you've got to take emotion out of it and just get on with it because, and that's the thing with that's why Sir Alex Ferguson was great. He nipped stuff in the bud. He saw a bad apple or saw something he didn't think was right. He acted on it quick. Roy Keane, Jaap Stam, David Beckham, Ruud Van Nistelrooy, Paul Ince, etc. And these players are all players who were top tier players. Do you know what I mean? Where if you were saying based on ability, do you keep them? You keep all of them.
Yeah.
But because he saw something that weren't right, that could destabilise the whole unit, made the decision. It goes back to my point again about discipline, nipping stuff in the bud. Man United have been weak in that area.
Dwight Yorke, you told me a story once when the very first day that you came to Man United. Please, can you let the audience know?
Yeah, no. So I was walking around a training ground, walking out to the pitch with, walking out from breakfast with Dwight. He was showing me where to go and whatnot, and we walked past the manager on the stairs. Then later on in the morning, we was going out for training, and the manager was there. He said, Ferdinand, come here. And I said, you right, boss? He said, yeah. He said, basically, like, pick who you hang around with wisely because Dwight's been a great player here, but he will no longer be here anymore. He's took his foot off the pedal. Wow. He's enjoying life too much after winning the treble and being a great player, so he's not going to be it. And he was gone very soon after. And that just showed me straight away that don't matter what you've done, Dwight Yorke just won the treble a couple of years ago.
European Golden Boot.
Been the man, like Dwight Yorke. Yorkie was the governor. Absolutely dismissed on one of my first days at the football club. So
people don't remember how good he was.
Dwight Yorke was a mad player. Him and Coley was a mad partnership.
What? And as great as Andy Cole was for me, and I don't think he gets the recognition he deserves, I think people don't understand what that is like to move from Aston Villa, right, to go to a United team and be one of the best strikers in the world within the same season.
It's like Grealish. Grealish going City. No, that's what it's like.
Yeah, but I feel, not to say Grealish has done bad, because obviously they're top of the league and they're doing their thing. But I think Yorke came impact was immediate. And the partnership as well. You know, most players, they come and it kind of like...
Took a few months, that, though. You tried him with Solskjaer, tried him with Sheringham a little bit, and I don't know if Andy Cole had been out at the start of the season, but it was a minute before they played together, and I think from that first game, he was like, oh, there was something there. What was that?
I think it's the relationship off the pitch as well. When there's new players in the team, it could destabilise things. Mm-hmm. But when you've got a player that comes into the team and there's still a positive attitude, you know, fair play as well. Yeah.
You just got to be, as a club, as a whole, you've got to be strong on all situations, on all turnouts. If you feel, I remember we used to have meetings every now and again, and the manager would go, listen, there's stuff getting out. Who the FNL is it? Like there's too many things that a team sheet or a team would get out early, and it's the right team more into the game. Oh,
on that, there's something in his book about, he gripped it, I think it was your era as well. Do you live in Old Edge when he was in town?
Yeah.
Was it you that got gripped for it?
No.
So he said there was about five or six players who lived in Alderley Edge, and he said he'd figured out that there was a reporter who lived in Alderley Edge that was getting a team sheet. He said he got a lot of you in, like half a dozen of you, and he went, I don't care who it is, but it stops now, or you're all just going to get launched. And he said, and it stopped.
Could that weren't my era then? I don't remember that. But what I mean is like the manager who had his finger on the pulse and stuff like that, he wouldn't suffer none of that stuff. The team's getting out, right, I need to find out who it is. And he'd be putting it on the squad, like making people know I'm onto this. So you're going to keep doing it, I will find you, type thing. So, and I just don't think that's gone on. And I think it's an important part of a football club as well, to remain whole, remain a unit, to remain as one. And I don't think it's felt like that for a while at the moment, and especially with all these reports coming out now. It happens with big clubs. You're going to get reports and loads of stuff said about clubs that isn't true, some is and whatnot, but far too much has happened in recent years.
Well, there's clearly a leak of some sort, which might be one player, might be two, might be three at most. But there's also just a lot of fabrication. Journalists just going, this sounds like it might be true, so I'm writing it.
So most of the stuff you see about Pogba, it's all fabricated. It's like
so
a lot
the other
of
day
rubbish.
that was Maguire's had a word with Ronaldo, has he?
No.
Yeah.
No chance.
Has he?
Not happening.
Obviously, we're looking at the unhappiness of Man United players. We're judging the happiness of the players. I want to look at some of the other teams as well. Chelsea, obviously, they've had to nip the Lukaku situation in the bud. First of all, go on.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah, go on.
Lukaku comes out, does an interview, whether you think it's the right interview or not, right, or you think it's right or wrong, or what happened, or the tone of it was right or wrong. That club and Thomas Tuchel, from the front of that, when they saw that, dealt with that quick, nipped it in the bud, said, no, we ain't having that. And by the way, you're going to do an interview and you're going to apologise.
He's an asset.
And yeah, but it's not being scared to do that with your £100 million striker, by the way. Not any man, not a guy that's come through the youth system. That's your £100 million investment. And you're going, no, that don't happen here. These are the rules. This is where you stay. Now speak up and say you're sorry and go out and play next game. And to be fair to Lukaku,
Exactly.
gone up there, puffed his chest out, sorry, didn't mean to come across like that.
Moved on.
Now I'm playing.
Yeah.
The situation's gone. That's not happened to Man United at any point in this time that I'm talking about.
Are we looking at Chelsea about to run a football
What
club?
I'm saying, there's no time in the last 5, 10 years, 9 years, whatever, since Fergie left, where you thought Man United have absolutely dealt with that situation. They haven't allowed any disrespect.
And do you know what?
Don't happen.
In totally unrelated circumstances, someone that has been there, I know what's it, precisely the amount of time that United have been a shit show, Ed Woodward, has now stepped down as of start of next month, innit? And will no longer darken our doors, hopefully.
Who is
Richard Arnold.
Richard Arnold? Can you tell us a little bit about Richard Arnold?
Yeah, I know. He was head of commercial at the club for many years. I was there, I think, when one of his early years when he came in. He used to come on tour and stuff. And good guy. I think he's known Ed a long time. He's been behind the scenes for many years now.
So when you say you've known Ed a long time, I heard, and I could be wrong, but I heard that they're like from the banking background.
Something like that. They've got history anyway prior to the club, I think. So, but he's come in, and I'm really interested to see how he does because, you look 13, 14 years ago, would you have said he's going to be in this position now? I probably would have said, I don't know, it's a long shot. But he's stayed there, he's worked his socks off behind the scenes, knows the club inside out, been there through the good and the bad times. So has that experience, and I hope he can use that experience to his benefit and to the club's benefit, more importantly. It's a tough task because the club isn't in a good position in a minute. You look at the table there, 7th in the league, out of the Champions League.
Is CEO of United a tough task? Surely you've got the budget and the pull to be able to employ some of the best people in the world in their field.
Do you know what it is? It's an unbelievable job. It's a job, if it comes up, you are throwing your CV in the hat all day long because it's, like you say, the resources that you've got, the stature of the club, the magnifying glasses on your back, on your head the whole time. But what a place to go. And you know what? Where you're picking it up as well. You're picking it up and just languishing in 7th place. There's so much room for improvement. Yeah. It's just for me, it's a perfect storm for me. You have to.
You come in, you let football people run the football side, and that's a crazy idea. But
delegate.
Let's try it. And that supposedly that's what's going to be. He's coming in and he's going to be a bit more hands off, and he's going to let John Murtagh and Darren Fletcher run the football side of stuff in conjunction with whatever Ralph's going to do for the next 2 years. I'm sorry, did you need someone else to come in and say that? That's obviously. You know, why was Ed getting so involved in the football stuff? If you know banking and you know business, right, okay, cool. Well, how about you do the banking and the business then and leave the football?
Listen, I spoke to Ed towards the end, and he was more like, listen, I don't do as much as the football as people are led to believe. Matt Judge handles the financials, etc. And then you've got John Murtagh's been brought in now with Darren Fletcher. So I assumed, like yourself, from what I was told in the media, he's doing all of he's involved in all the discussions around football, etc. And personally, when I spoke to him, he made out like it wasn't the case. So you got to take what he's telling you as to be the truth.
Do you reckon he's going to be a success?
I can't tell you. I don't know. I really hope he is. I'm sure I'll get to sit and spend time with him at some point and really get some meat on the bone. But we've hoped and prayed for every single person who's come through in big prominent positions at the club and been let down a little bit by most, if not all. So I hope to see a change in that with this
I'll
new
tell you
guy.
how it can be a success. Build that youth stadium, which United with the best youth system historically in the country deserves. It's a joke that we play in Lee, halfway down the motorway. It's a piss take. It's not even a motorway, it's an A road, right? It's a joke that we don't have our own youth facilities. Finish off Old Trafford so it doesn't look like a three-quarters finished stadium. Lick a paint and a bit of a baby wipe on the front of it wouldn't be a bad idea neither. And then facilitate a sale of the club to somebody who actually gives a toss. Whether that's a private individual or a consortium or the ballsy one, which I think is probably unrealistic, somehow give it back to the fans, even in a mass share scheme or something along those lines. If he does all that, I don't care what we win, we'll be a success. Because you've got to transition away from these owners for me. They've been the constant in the bad time of United.
I want to look further at other teams as well.
Arsenal
I think
went
it's only
Arsenal
right.
went out of the FA Cup.
Yeah, I don't know if you
Arsenal,
saw that. Did you see that?
Did you see that?
Yeah, we
Did you
saw
see
it in
that?
the
Was you
group
there?
chat. You guys, man, like, come on. We've still won the cup 4 times within 8 seasons. You lot ain't got that record. You ain't.
Right. Are you winning it this year, though?
You ain't. No,
Are you
we're
winning it
not.
this year,
But we've
though?
won it 4
Why
times
aren't
in
you
8
winning it
years.
this year?
Okay, cool. So we've gone through situations. For example, you were talking about how players being unhappy, Aubameyang being the key player.
He was like,
Would
your
you
captain,
say, yeah, my captain. How's your captain doing?
Don't
All right.
worry.
Would you say that Arsenal have dealt with it the right way from what you can see?
Without knowing the details and the inner workings of the situation,
Yeah.
it's difficult to kind of say, yeah, this is right, because I'm sure Aubameyang will be sitting there going, I feel hard done by.
Yeah, because we heard what it was. That potentially it was family
about
stuff.
family situation. So I don't know enough details to kind of say, this is the exact right or wrong way to deal with it. I think that
Do what the press do. Just make it up.
No. I think. Listen, if what I respect about Arteta is he's seen the situation and he's read it the way he sees it as a manager and has just gone with it. And I like someone who's assertive, and he seems to have been that in this situation. Whether he's right or wrong, I don't know because of details. And so I think you have to wait for someone like Aubameyang to come out and really speak on the situation, and then wait for a return from Arteta to really know the ins and outs. But for the club, he's made a decision for the club and for himself, Arteta, and as the manager, you've got to follow that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Arteta's current feelings are. I know.
Is Arteta the right man for Arsenal?
It's very tough.
Because
Rio, what a good-looking question.
because we asked this in the group the other day, and on one of the shows a couple of weeks ago, he's saying Arteta's the guy.
He put a suit of armour on, he got a shield, he got a sword, and he went to bat, didn't he, for Arteta? But what did you say in the group last night, Joe?
You know what? What I said in the group, you guys are foul for this, by the way. Proper foul.
What did you say?
I don't think he's got
Joel,
the
what did you
minerals.
say?
No, you told me to grow a pair. Yeah.
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 I
Cool.
did.
Yeah. All right. I don't think he's got the minerals. I think what it is with Arteta, he's stabilized the club. You guys used to love using the whole stabilize the club thing. He stabilized it. It was looking a little bit mad, considering the fact that we're not who we used to be. I think, and considering, the Aubameyang situation, even strikers like Lacazette, who haven't really been scoring, Rude, I still believe he's able to take us to a particular place. However, is he the type of manager to win us the league? I don't see that.
At the moment, though, it's
I
only
don't see
Liverpool and
yeah, but
City
we're
and
so
Chelsea
far behind.
to
Do
win
you know what I
it.
mean? We're so
building,
far.
man. You got
We're
to
ahead of
give
Man
people
United.
time.
We're ahead of Man United.
Give people time
We're ahead
to
of Man
build.
United. That's a great achievement.
Who's the real Joe? Where is the real Joe?
I don't even
now,
know if
I'm
I've ever
saying
met
it,
him.
I can't read it.
I don't
I'm
even know if
afraid,
I've
go
ever
on.
met him. I think he has the right idea, but he's something missing. He's got a ceiling.
Did I not just say that?
Getting a real manager, he said.
It's harsh, man.
But
Because 2 weeks ago, it was Arteta's the man. Arteta's the guy. You only lost
pull
2
them
games,
clips
man.
up.
You lost to City, the champions, and you lost to Nottingham
You
Forest,
guys
the
can
league
talk
below.
because Ralph Rangnick was going to come in and do this, do that. To me, he seems like he's a good talker of the game, but is he delivering? You lot don't need sports lecturers. Yeah, you need someone to actually come in and do the job.
When he's had good time on the training
right,
pitch,
cool.
I'll judge him. Anyway,
yeah.
Tom, another Arsenal fan in the house. What are you saying about your team?
He's with
You
Arteta.
Arteta in,
Yeah, but
loyal
Tom-
to the bone,
whatever, man.
fan.
Um,
He's talking to Joel like Joel's any type of fan.
boy, I don't care.
Look at this record.
What's that?
Recent form from Arsenal's great.
Yeah, great.
You didn't
One
get an
loss
upset.
in
You didn't
5.
get an upset in the cup, so you just got to sometimes come up against a big club, and that's
It
what
happens. It happens.
Anyway, they're coming on live later or what?
Yeah, we're doing the live later on as well. So we're going to save the rest for later. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you stay tuned.
Are
The
United
show
going to
later
win,
on-
or are we going to stink the
United
place
win
out?
2-1. Trust me.
What's
United
in
win
that coffee?
2-1.
You know what? Whatever happens,
2-1.
you're losing one of these games
2-1.
against Villa in the next week. You know you're playing them twice, right?
Yeah, I don't care.
You're going to lose one of them.
2-1, we're going to win.
We'll see. Guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. Peace. During Christmas, we did a quiz. Robbie Savage, myself, Rio, and Steve. And we told you guys to make sure you get involved in the quiz and we'll pick a winner. And there was all these gifts, these boxes, not from Santa, from Vibe with 5. And yes, we've picked the winner, and it's my guy, Reese Bennett. Congratulations, Reese. You are the Christmas quiz winner. Okay, all you have to do is DM us on Instagram. Someone will read it, get back to you, and we'll make sure we send you your prizes. Massive shout out to you. Present from us and, of course, Sokin Global, our sponsors. Reese Bennett, well done.